Hey friends, today we are back with Taylor Swift's Folklore, and we have another CD and something else to unbox as well. So let's start off with this CD. I think it should have a booklet that we can check out. I'm a big fan of her music, but don't expect me to know the second that she was born and her mother's middle name and any kind of technicality like that. 'Cause I'm busy, I can't be keeping up with all of those little facts. Come on. The plastic on the jewel case feels very soft and delicate. Look at that beautiful picture. It's gorgeous. Now, when I say delicate or gorgeous, I'm not making puns. So here she's facing the front. Oh no, she is. It's the same photo. I thought this was the back of her, but it's the same. Prologue. Yeah, I'll read this. It started with imagery, visuals that popped into my mind and piqued my curiosity. Stars drawn around skies, a cardigan that still bears the scent of loss 20 years later, battleships sinking into the ocean, down, down, down. The tree swing in the woods of my childhood, hushed tones of let's run away and never doing it. The sun-drenched month of August sipped away like a bottle of wine. A mirrored disco ball hovering above a dance floor, a whiskey bottle beckoning, hands held through plastic, a single thread that, for better or for worse, ties you to your fate. So those are all references to different songs on the album. Pretty soon these images in my head grew faces or names and became characters. I found myself not only writing my own stories, but also writing about or from the perspective of people I've never met, people I've known, or those I wish I hadn't. An exiled man walking the bluffs of a land that isn't his own, wondering how it all went so terribly, terribly wrong. An embittered tormentor showing up at the funeral of his fallen object of obsession. A 17-year-old standing on a porch, learning to apologize. Love-struck kids wandering up and down the evergreen High Line. My grandfather, Dean, landing at Guadalcanal in 1942. A misfit widow getting gleeful revenge on the town that cast her out. A tale that becomes folklore is one that is passed down and whispered around, sometimes even sung about. The lines between fantasy and reality blur, and the boundaries between truth and fiction become almost indiscernible. Speculation over time becomes fact. Myths, ghost stories, and fables, fairy tales and parables, gossip and legend, someone's secrets written in the sky for all to behold. In isolation, my imagination has run wild, and this album is the result. A collection of songs and stories that flowed like a stream of consciousness. Picking up a pen was my way of escaping into fantasy, history, and memory. I've told these stories to the best of my ability, with all the love, wonder, and whimsy they deserve. Now it's up to you to pass them down. Taylor. Somehow I've never seen this photo. So these are the lyrics. Cardigan, The Last Great American Dynasty. This photo looks like Midnight's. It's just the hair is different. It's a beautiful photo shoot. This is one of my favorites. This Is Me Trying. I think that song is very special. And The Lakes, which is the physical edition bonus track. Another great song. So Taylor is the executive producer, the wardrobe stylist, hair and makeup, packaging creative, and art direction. And that's it. But obviously she helped with the rest too, because 13 Management is probably Taylor Swift's own company. Yeah, so that is Folklore. And I don't know which package is which, but I'm hoping that this is the Tortured Poets department. Yes, it is. Explicit. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't like this cover that much. Like, it's acceptable. It's not bad or anything, but I really like the cover of TTBPT, the anthology on streaming. So that one, I don't remember what it looks like now, but the standard one of TTPD is like where she's in the bed. The anthology cover is different to that. I remember it's grey and it doesn't have this greenish tint that this one has. Here she is. And it still has a sticker on the top here. And unfortunately, the jewel case is scratched as well. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's scratched like around here. TTPT includes all 31 tracks plus 4 acoustic version tracks. So the acoustics are Fortnight, Down Bad, But Daddy I Love Him, and Guilty as Sin. All's fair in love and poetry. Disc 1. And disc 2. A simple CD design. But it looks nice. This is a very thick booklet because there's so many songs, so it was difficult to get it out from the case. And that is a whole lot of writing, because this is a very lyrical heavy album. And it has a lot of songs. But that's cool, the way that the text is shaped. And we've got one photo here. It's very pretty. I think this is my favorite song of the album, Lost of My Life. The Black Dog is another amazing track. And so underrated. I don't hear people mentioning the Black Dog at all. You know, like everyone says the album. Well, there's a lot of criticism of this album. And some of it is that the songs are too slow and like down tempo. But the Black Dog is like, it has a different sonic style, you know, it builds up and nobody talks about that. Like it's a ballad, but it's also like a banger. It's like a sad banger. Some flowers here. But it makes sense that this booklet is mainly text because there's so much text and lyrics that need to be written. I've seen this picture. I think this was one of the covers of one of those editions that she did. So that is the booklet. And there was no photos of her in the bed like the standard edition cover. At this hearing, I stand before my fellow members of the Tortured Poets Department with a summary of my findings, a debrief, a detailed rewinding, for the purpose of warning, for the sake of reminding. As you might all unfortunately recall, I had been struck with a case of a restricted humanity, which explains my plea here today of temporary insanity. Taylor, you see, the pendulum swings, oh, the chaos it brings, leads the caged beast to do the most curious things. Lovers spend years denying what's ill-fated, resentment rotting away, galaxies we created. Stars placed and glued meticulously by hand next to the ceiling fan. Tried wishing on comets, tried dimming the shine, tried to orbit his planet. Some stars never align. and the text is not aligned, of course. And in one conversation, I tore down the whole sky. Spring sprung forth with dazzling freedom hues, then a crash from the skylight bursting through. Something old, someone hallowed, who told me he could be brand new. And so I was out of the oven and into the microwave, out of the slammer and into a tidal wave. How gallant to save the Empress from her gilded tower, swinging a sword he could barely lift, but loneliness struck at that fateful hour, low-hanging fruit on his wine-stained lips. He never even scratched the surface of me. None of them did. In summation, it was not a love affair. I screamed while bringing my fists to my coffee-ringed desk. It was a mutual manic phase. It was self-harm. It was house and then cardiac arrest. A smirk creeps onto this poet's face, because it's the worst men that I write best. And so I enter into evidence my tarnished coat of arms, my muses acquired like bruises, my talismans and charms, the tick, tick, tick of love bombs, my veins of pitch black ink, all's fair in love and poetry. Sincerely, the chairman of the Tortured Poets Department. And now we close the manuscript. TLDR. It's a great album. It gets too much criticism. The only reason people are angry is because it's so successful, you know? I always root for the underdog, and even though this was such a big album, it's definitely an underdog in pop culture and in her career as a whole. But I think it's going to be looked back upon fondly and critically reassessed. Okay, and our last package today is also for or from the Tortured Poets Department. Tortured Poets Department sweatpants. So I won't be able to show these on camera that much, but this is what it looks like, I guess. This is the front. I love you, it's ruining my life. And that's the only thing it says. But that's one of my favorite lyrics, so I'm happy with that. It's a decent thickness. And the color is quite nice, very similar to the photo. And these were not cheap. These were like at least $100 in Australian, I think. Probably more like 150. %75% cotton, 25% polyester, machine wash cold, tumble dry low. Okay, so they can go in the dryer, but obviously this text is going to fade eventually. But I think it'll look good even when the text is faded, because it's like a metaphor, right? Artistic. The love, the memories, everything begins to fade. Yeah, so thank you for joining me. If you're a Taylor fan, or if you have opinions on the Tortured Poets Department, drop a comment and let me know. I'm down to discuss with you. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye.